What's going on, everyone? So, I got some great news in regards to Scary Movie 6, which I am super excited for. Like, I am more excited for Scary Movie 6 now than I am for even Scream 7, because, one, I love me some Scary Movie, particularly the originals, the classics, and the first one. I love the first one, but the Wayans Brothers are back. You have like Regina Hall talking about how she may be back and she wants to be back, and a Ferris, right? You're starting to see everybody starting to come through. And David Sheridan confirms Ghostface will return in Scary Movie 6 and more. He did a whole interview via Crazy Dog 500. For those that don't know, David Sheridan is the one that played Doofy. So, two things. One, we got Ghostface back, and two, we're getting Doofy back. Right? How are you not excited to know that Doofy is expected to be back? Doofy being back would just be a home run, right? Who doesn't love Doofy? But again, it's great that you're starting to see the band kind of get put back together, right? No, I do think you got to get Anna Faris back, right? You got to get her involved. Regina Hall has already said she's down. She wants to kind of get the band back together. Did a whole video on that. Go check out that video when you get a chance. But I'm really excited to see kind of also what horror movies are used for this upcoming Scary Movie. But Doofy, I mean, come on. How do you not love Doofy? He was that movie in so many ways. Of duty, Gail swallows my ass. Like, there's so many just like great lines, and that just so many comedic, funny moments. And Doofy was the original killer. Because remember, right? Ray and Bobby, they were the copycats. They were copying a killer that already exists. You know, the plan was foolproof. But also, Doofy is why a lot of people think that Dewey was the original killer, right? That, and also was this mastermind. I mean, there have been rumors up until he died that he was actually the ultimate mastermind, and that at some point we would get some information that Dewey was always the one involved, and he was secretly the bad guy, the mastermind orchestrator. And then turns out it was Roman. That was kind of the idea. And, you know, and also Scary Movie used a lot of like scenes from like the old scripts and stuff like that, right? So there was a lot of things that were very mirrored with Scream in the first Scary Movie. It's why, I mean, to this day, right? To this day, every time I watch Scream, I just start cracking up in areas that I'm not supposed to be cracking up in, because I immediately start thinking of the Scary Movie scenes, because they're like exact, and it's great. It is hilarious. But I'm genuinely excited that that Doofy is going to be back. I'm curious to see how do they continue his story, because you got to remember, he can't do the Doofy disguise anymore, or can he? Right? How do they approach this? Is it, you know, like how Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2, right? Scary Movie 2, everyone survived, you know, the Windsor Massacre and all that stuff, and it was just like, wait, no, we literally watched everybody die, and Ray was the killer. Like, why is everyone just hanging out with Ray? Because it was just kind of like its own thing, and it's also, you know, again, that's part of the comedy, right? Like, you see movies do stuff like that all the time, where it's just like, everybody died. It's like, oh no, really, no one died. They're all back. I mean, we just saw it in Scream 6, literally, where nobody died, right? So, I mean, talk about, you know, predicting the future of the Scream franchise. But nonetheless, right, like, you know, I'm curious to see, do they actually bring Doofy back, or does Dave end up playing another character, another role, which could very well be the approach in which they take. But as far as like Ghostface being back, I'm all for it, right? I mean, obviously you have Scream 5, 6, and we're about to have Scream 7, so you're in the Scream time, so it makes sense to kind of have Ghostface be kind of in the forefront. And look, I mean, you even saw in the original Scary Movie, I mean, they made fun of, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, right? Like, there's all kinds of films that you can have still tie in and have the direct connection, and it kind of orbit around Ghostface. You know, maybe Ghostface is back, and that's kind of the premise, and then you have, you know, like a Purge and whatever, Conjuring, and, you know, like the Black Phone and all that. I could see them doing kind of like, and I've talked about this before, and when I first talked about the Scary Movie 6 coming out, I could see where this is, like, this makes fun of, like, the legacy sequels, right? And the requels that we keep getting. We keep getting, like, you've seen it with, Scream and Nightmare on, or not Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? You've seen it with The Exorcist, right? Like, Halloween, right? Like, all of these horror franchises keep doing these, like, legacy sequels and these, like, or these requels where it's a direct sequel to the original and stuff like that, right? Like, so you keep getting these, like, oh, let's bring back the nostalgia. And so I could see them, because that's kind of what this is, right? You're getting the Wayans Brothers back. You're getting, potentially Anna Faris and Regina Hall and Dave Sheridan and all of these actors and actresses. I could see them kind of doing, like, where they're spoofing and making fun of all these legacy sequels. And, maybe even some of the characters dying in these, like, silly ways. I mean, like, look at, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the way that they handled that, or The Exorcist and the way that they handled that, or like Halloween, right? Like, people were furious with Halloween Ends and stuff, right? Like, there's so many creative ways that they could just tie this installment into kind of like the modern movie trope, which is like, oh, let's bring back the classic characters for the old fans and then tell a new story for the new fans, but we're just gonna butcher having the legacy characters involved already. Plus, I mean, come on, it's Ghostface. Like, how do you not have, like, Ghostface? Ghostface is so, it's so synopsis with the classic Scary Movie, right? So it's kind of just like, kind of get back to the roots. And that's kind of what this feels like to me. Kind of feels like, hey, let's get back to the beginning. Let's get back to originally what made this so successful, right? And look, I've talked about it. I really hope that they don't, like, Hollywood up this script. I hope, like, let the Wayans Brothers do their thing. Let them tell their jokes. Let them do their thing, right? Like, like, what are they going? They're not going to do anything so crazy that it's like, oh my gosh, like, can we just, like, let comedy be comedy again, right? I would love to see Scary Movie 6 be the thing that kind of, like, relights the fire of comedy, because I mean, comedy is just, in many ways, it's just died. Right? Like what good comedy films come out anymore? I mean, they don't even really make comedy films anymore. It's like, like the rom-coms now and all. Like, it's something else where they just, like, sprinkle in comedy rather than, like, just the straightforward. Think of things like The Hangover and stuff like that. Like, you just don't get those anymore. Tropic Thunder. Like, you could never do Tropic Thunder in today's climate, right? Like, people would lose their minds. And I just think that that's silly, right? Like, again, if you don't like something, don't watch it, right? Like, if it's too offensive to you, don't watch it. It's simple. Like, why do we have to change and destroy things, right? Like, because comedy is very subjective, right? Like, you might not like something, but the next person does, and the next person thinks it's funny, right? If you don't think something's funny, then fine, just don't support it. Like, I don't know where we got to this point where it's like, you have to, like, destroy everything, right? You have to ruin it. Oh, we don't like it, so get rid of it. Like, what? Like, what happened to just, like, I don't like that, I'm not going to support it. If you don't like it, don't support it. But, hopefully we can get some good quality jokes. Because I don't want it to be all, like, you see everything just gets so, like, Disney now. And it's just like, like the comedy, it's like, oh no, right? Like, and it's just, can we tell some real jokes, right? Have some real comedic moments, have some, nice tie-ins and connections to the horror genre and horror movies as a whole, right? I think there's some real potential here, in regards to Scary Movie. I really do think that they have a real opportunity here to really kind of potentially even save comedy in a lot of ways. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. And I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? How do you feel? What are you excited that one, Doofy is expected to be back in the upcoming Scary Movie 6? Are you excited that they're doing Ghostface once again? That Ghostface will actually be in the upcoming Scary Movie 6? Or do you want them to kind of like, no, like, go back and do some other tropes? But again, I mean, Scream is relevant. right? Like, it'd be one thing if, like, we haven't had a Scream movie in 10 years and it's like, oh, they're really bringing back Ghostface. But no, like, we're about to have Scream 7 in 2026, so makes a lot of sense. How do you feel? Do you want, like, hey, keep it edgy, keep the jokes, like, let them have free range as far as the jokes go, or do you think, like, no, you need to kind of conform to the times? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, whatever your opinions are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.